All praises, all honor, all glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and salutation to Allah Akim, doing and pushing this word in sincerity and truth worldwide, and a sincere shalom to the elect. I want to get into this video real quick. It goes into this album cover. This album cover fits it perfectly, 2/3 are 2/3 are mad pissed, okay? And it reminds me of this DMX album cover right here, where DMX has that face, of anguish. You can see the anguish behind the eyes, okay? You can see the anger behind the eyes, okay? And 2/3, it's one thing to know why you're suffering, and it's another to just suffer and not know why you're suffering, okay? Now, we know why we're going through this situation, okay? Let me get this real quick in Baruch. But 2/3, it's oblivious to them. They don't know, okay? Baruch chapter 4 and verse 6. You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because he moved Yahweh to wrath. You were delivered unto the enemies, for he provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to Yahweh. Ye have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. Okay, so we were sold to the nations, not for our destruction, but because we were being whores, man. It's like a wife cheating on her husband, So the Lord said, enough of this. You gotta get righteous judgment passed upon you. Okay. So going back into this, we understand why we're going through what we're going through, because we stepped against the Most High. We are as a wife onto Him. Okay. Jeremiah chapter 3. Let me get that real quick too as well. So it's no wonder the Most High said, you know what? Fuck this, man. You guys want to be niggas? All right. Hold up a second. Yep. This is what it says here in Jeremiah chapter 3 and 14. Turn back, O backsliding Trojan, saith Yahweh, for I am married unto you, and I will take you, one of a city and two of a family, and bring you to Zion. Okay. Main point, Lord said, I am married unto you. Isaiah chapter 50 and verse 1. Where's your bill of divorce? Okay. But we have played the whore. We have played the harlot. Okay. Onto our power. We have played the harlot. So there is punishment for that. All right. So we know why we're suffering. Because we stepped against our power. Okay. We stepped against our husband, metaphorically speaking. All right. As the house of Israel. And like I said, there's got to be, just reward, righteous judgment for those actions. And right now we're suffering for those actions. When you go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, starting from the 15th verse, and 16 on up, you see all the curses that have befell us, okay, fall upon us. Because why? As it tells you in Deuteronomy there, we stepped against the Most High. If you didn't want to listen, you didn't want to do these things, well, these are the curses that are going to hit you, okay? And that's what happened to us, bottom line. So when I look at this face here, it's generally applied to the whole house, 2/3 of Israel, okay? It's generally applied to 2/3 of Israel, man, because they're pissed. They don't even know what they're going through or why they're going through it, okay? They just know that they're on the bottom. People in the world call them niggas, spics, wetbacks, Pocahontas, right? All types of names, right? Bywords. As the scriptures tell you that I have seen what? Salakia. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 7. I have seen servants upon horses and princesses walking as servants upon the earth. And that's what happened to us, man. We on the low, okay? We're in the low. We so low that, it's as if we can't see a glimmer, a shimmer of sunlight. But to the ones who know, that light has arisen and shine onto us. Let's get that real quick too as well. Jeremiah chapter 4 and 16, the people which sat in darkness saw great light, and to them which sat in the region and shadow of death, light is sprung up. And where are we? And we're in that Babylon. That's that shadow of death, man. Okay. Well, actually, North America, well, Babylon, America, but we're here in North America too, But main point, the light has sprung up. Okay. There's knowledge, wisdom, understanding. And it hasn't sprung up on all of Israel. It only sprung up to, the potential elect. Okay. Those who might potentially be the elect. All right. So it is, we're being returned onto our power to know that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is our power. Yahweh sent us through these things because we went against him. And, we're waiting for our Savior, Yahweh Shai, his son. Right? But 2/3, they don't know this. Okay? So going back into this, getting into the lesson here, and this face, this, it's not funny, but, this is the perfect face right here, man. You know what I mean? Actually, yeah, crop it to that, man. That's the perfect face right there, okay? That's generally applied to the whole 2/3 of Israel, man. Okay, let's get into this. You know what? Let me go to this one right here. Come on. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 28. And Yahweh shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. Now, when you go into this word madness here, it goes into craziness, furiously. Slack, yeah, I can't even pronounce it. Madness, okay? Craziness of mind, man. Let me see if I find it to be maddened. Rave through insanity. Okay. Wait, hold up. There was another one too. But anyways, this is how 2/3 are, man. Okay. They're well pissed off. They're crazy in the mind. Those curses has affected them way beyond measure, and they don't even know. Okay. They run around out there pissed off, killing each other. And that's another part of the curses that they don't understand too as well. Because when you look around, you see Jake, looking at their own brother, which is part of the curses with an evil eye, taking them out left, right, and center, man. Okay? So let's go into the next scripture here. Yo. Exodus chapter 6 and verse 9. Okay? And Moses spake so unto the children of Israel, but they hearkened not unto Moses, for anguish of spirit and for cruel bondage. Okay? This is much like today. When we're out there on the highways and byways, these 2/3, like we said, they don't understand that reincarnation is real. They don't understand that they've been through harsh, cruel bondage, okay? They don't understand that. And the Spirit understands it. The Spirit knows it. The Spirit feels it. The record is with, okay? But Jake don't understand that. That's why you see when Jake acts the way they act, remember, these people constantly remind us that they put us through slavery for over 400 years, okay? All the time they constantly remind us that they put us through slavery for over 400 years, right? And what does Jake feel? Jake still feels that in his spirit, but he doesn't realize that, okay? And because of that, and the things that are dangled in front of his face, all the vanity, all the toys, trinkets that Esau, Edom, and these other nations have, he gets mad pissed because he wants a piece of that pot too. And then he was realizing in his head, well, why can't every time I got $100, boom, it's gone. I go to work, it's vanished. The money's gone, spent before I even have it. God damn it. Okay? Those are part of curses, man. Okay? And Jake don't realize, that's why they don't want to respond or listen or hearken onto this word. Because they're feeling it in spirit. All those, the Assyrian, Babylonian, right? Neo-Assyrian, all those captivities, narrow all of them, all the way leading up to recently, with slavery, the transatlantic slavery and whatnot. Jake is feeling that within their bones, but they don't understand, okay, where it's coming from, why. But we have the understanding. This is why Jake reacts to this word in such a case, because they're coming back in their stead. The spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So if that's so with the prophets, that's so with these people too as well. Okay? So when they're feeling like, hey man, I don't want to listen to this word. I want to get now. I need to get now. Okay? What could that word get me? Okay? Can that word get me a Mercedes? Can that word get me a house? You know what I mean? Cash, the bitches. You know what I mean? That's what Jake's mind is on. But we're telling them, yo, this is not our rest. This is not our kingdom. Okay? We fucked up. We got to pay for what we did. Right? So here it is. Jake ain't responding to this word because they're feeling it in spirit, man. And they don't have the understand. If they would hunker down, if they would just listen, then they would have understanding of, oh, this is why I feel like this. Oh, this is why this is happening to me. This is why I'm going through what I'm going through. Wow, this is what's up, okay? This is what they would say to themselves in spirit, but they're not. What they're saying is, I'm rejecting this word. I don't care about this word. I want a part now, okay? So let me read that again. And Moses spake so unto the children of Israel, but they hearkened not unto Moses for anguish of spirit and for cruel bondage. Okay, let me go into this word. Sharpness, anguish, impatient of spirit, impatient. What did I tell you? Let me go into this real quick here. Let me see, to be short. Impatient, to be vexed, to be grieved. Okay, and they don't know why. Curtailed, discouraged, grieved, loathed, mourning, vexed, trouble, okay, to be troubled in the spirit or vexed, okay. So yeah, let's go on to the next scripture. This is why they smoking each other, man, okay. This is why the scriptures say this, Jeremiah 20. Isaiah chapter 51 and verse, slack here 1 second, what the fuck? Yeah, Isaiah chapter 51 and verse 20. Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as wild bulls, as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of Yahweh, the rebuke of thy power. Okay? That's why you see these niggas, these street corners, these bodegas and all that stuff, they all up there hanging out, right? And they all gadded up, as they would say. They all heated up. And when one rivalry comes by, guess what? That fury that the Lord, those curses that the Lord has put upon us, they lay that out. They, start with, those shootings and whatnot. Start shooting each other, stabbing each other up, robbing each other, okay? So this is part of the curses, okay? This isn't a joke. You don't see Esau, Edom chilling out at the fucking bodegas, hanging around there with their pants around their ass and all types of shit, okay? You don't see none of these other nations doing that except for us, okay? In wickedness, okay? They're out there hanging out with guns in their pocket, drugs in their pocket, you know what I mean? And guess who's going to walk by? Who's going to walk by in those neighborhoods? It's only Jake. You're not going to see Esau Edom come out of his neighborhood to come down to go see Jake unless he's supplying them with the shit, right? Or these other nations like Moab, Ishmael, they're going to come hang out. They're going to come hang out with you down there. You don't see them doing that, okay? What you do see is that these Moabites and these Ishmaelites got these stores where they're selling us these, the dogs that lick the wounds, selling us these fucking decrepitated food and all this type of stuff. This food that is ruining us, okay? You do see that. But going back into this, they're as wild bulls in a net, man. They are full of the fury of Yahweh. And when they see their brother, what? Their eye is evil towards their brother. And the next thing you know, what happens? Shootouts, right? Life is taken. And this is part of what? The curses, okay? Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Okay? What happened the other day with that guy? I can't remember his name, man. He was at where you wash your car and shit. Car wash, right? And fucking some niggas, that's exactly what they are, ran up on him and fucking, shot up the car, right? Hold up a second. Lock here. Yeah, so, here it is. This guy was at I can't remember his name, man. What was his name? He was at the car wash, right? And, he was in there with his daughter, and then these niggas, they ran up and pop, 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 pop. And so wicked, they ran back and shot up again the car again. I think I'm not gonna, I think it was, they ran up, they shot the guy and the girl, and they ran back and dumped more shells. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know if they intentionally came back to shoot the girl, but if I'm not mistaken, I heard that they came back to intentionally shoot the little girl or whoever was in the back seat. All right. So, and that's it's seen on video that they ran up, pop, 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 ran away, ran back again, pop, 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 and then took off, right? So I don't know if that's 100%, so I don't want to really, quote that. So, but hey, what happened? Just like the curses, it says that his eye shall be evil toward his brother, right? And we're Israelites, right? And toward his wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Okay? So guess what? The woman getting it, there's been instances where the woman's been shot too with the husband. Okay? Instance where the whole family got injured and hurt, or may have, the man deceased and the rest of them may have made it through. But the point here is, these are part of the curses. This is why, 2/3 mad pissed. They don't know why they mad pissed, but they know they mad pissed, and they know they want to lay out some kind of vengeance, man. And this is why the Lord, hey, you don't want to listen? Well, these curses is what going to apply to you until the end of time, man. Okay? Until the kingdom is established, man. Even during Jacob's trouble, you think what? Niggas, 2/3 niggas are going to wake up? Get the hell out of here. They're going to be wicked to the end. The scriptures tell you that they're going to continue in their wickedness and not even be mindful of the scourges, man. So why the hell in Jacob's trouble they're going to say, oh shit, those Israelites were right? No, they don't want to listen because of the anguish of spirit and the curses that are applying to them, okay? And besides, it wasn't given to them to, hear this word, But, as the scriptures tell you in Exodus chapter 9 and 6, they were rebellious because they didn't want, they had that, feeling within them, that anguish within them, man. That anger, okay? that vexation, that trouble within the spirit. But the Lord humbled us to come and hear this word. The Lord humbled us, brought us very low, man. A lot of brothers out here, they had houses, cars, you know, certain things, you know, of the world where you could say, oh man, that's valuable, you know. Me, myself, I had an S420. I ain't gonna say I was living good, but shit, you know, things were there. And as soon as I came into the truth, I started noticing things vanish. And Apostle Gabar says that all the time. He says, hey man, you gotta be humble, you know. And then when they, you know, this is when I first came into truth, and when they went to the scriptures where it was a man to sell all of his items, and he walked away sad, you know, because Yahushua told him, yo, sell all that you have. And this guy says, I think it was the individual who said, I did all these things, da 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 da. And then he said, sell what you have, sell all that you have, and come follow me. And then the man walked away very sorrowful, yo. He's like, I gotta get rid of all my possessions, you know. But you get the point of the story. We all lost a lot of these stupid things in the world, but it's all vanity. Who cares? Okay? But these 2/3 Jakes, they're like, I want now. I want something now. This is why in Micah, oh man, let me get that before I go further. Malachi 3:14 says, ye have said, it is vain to serve Yahweh, and what profit is it that we have kept his ordinance, and that we have walked mournfully before Yahweh hosts. Okay? And now we call the proud happy, yea, they that work wickedness are set up, yea, they that tempt God are even delivered. Okay? So they look at the wicked and they say, yo, why the hell am I going to walk mournfully before the Lord? Okay? Why am I going to, you know, what profit is that to me? Okay? That I walk mournfully before the Lord all the days of my life. And at the end of the year, day and week, I ain't got nothing. I got a house, a chauffeur, or a car, or nothing. The Lord is not rewarding you with physical things, man. Spiritual things. You got a spiritual bank account. You better, all you 2/3 are in negative. You know, your loans need to be paid up. But we're storing up our riches in heaven where men don't break in. Okay? Nor rust or any of those things corrupt it. Okay? So they look at the wicked and they say, look, all these guys got, look what he got, look what he got, look what he got, right? Man, they got the money, they got the cars, which equals bitches and this and that, right? So their mind is all corrupted thinking about these vain things. Really, they should be thinking about, you know, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and how to serve him, their power. Anyways, let me continue on to what I was getting. You know, this is why you see part of the curses, right? Where Jake is laying out these judgments on each other. Because the Lord, Job chapter 4:7 said, whoever died or whoever perished being innocent, man. The Lord knows all your doings. Every lifetime. He's the one that has your chart. Okay? Ecclesiastes chapter 39. Or Sirach chapter 39. And verse 28. Okay? Because Jake is out there laying judgment down on each other, man. And that's the spirit. That's the spirit that the Lord puts upon them too. Okay? To do these acts. To commit these things. Sirach chapter 39 verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Okay, so you see sometimes these subway videos or, you know, Jake catches wife cheating and stuff like that, and then that put him to death, right? And that's the judgment of the Lord right there. You don't see it really happening to these Edomites and these other nations as much as us. I mean, people pass, people die, right? But look in these hoods, look in these neighborhoods, man. This is why the scriptures tell you that your life shall hang in doubt, man. Okay? Let me get that too. Because why? Jake out there fucking killing each other, full of the fury of the Lord, right? And this is all part of the curses. Jake mad pissed. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 65. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease. We're still in the curses. We find no ease amongst these nations, man. We have not a land to call for our own. We have not a house to claim to say, yeah, this is ours. Okay? This is our piece of land. None of that. Everybody got their share, except for us. Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. Okay? Neither shall thy soul have rest, but Yahweh shall give thee a trembling of heart. You see these Jakes, that's why they out there carrying guns in Chicago and these major cities by the hundreds, man. These 2/3, okay? Because when they step outside, they don't feel safe. They need something to give them assurance that, yo, somebody popping at me, I could pop back at them. Or in just general wickedness, I'm going to go out there and pop somebody. Oh, I got to go sell my drugs, so if somebody try to rob me, I got to have something on me, right? Oh, we the gang. This is how we roll. This is our territory, right? This is all the shit that is in Jake's mind. So when they go out there, they have a tremble in the heart. The women too, and the little kids. The little kids go, they did a documentary about some police or something like that, and the kids were like, yeah, when I see the police, I get scared. I run inside, because I don't want to get shot by them, But these other nations, do they think like that? Do they have that fear upon them? No, they don't have that fear upon them. They don't think like that. Because they have their blessings right now, okay? They got their part in the world right now, okay? And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night. See that? And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, man. And let me get back to another thing too. We have no resting place, okay? You might look and say, well, what about the Native Americans and Latinos here? Don't you know this man made a treaty with these people and stole all the fucking land? So no, we don't have nothing. The Native Americans, what happened to them? The so-called Native Americans, God, they pushed them onto reservations, man. Okay? So anyways, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, right? When you out in these corners, they're hanging out in those streets, they doing whatever the fuckery they doing, right? Even in their house, They wondering if I gonna live to see 25. They're hearing songs like Tupac, will I live to see 25 and all this shit, right? All part of the curses, man. Because it's real, okay? It's not something that, it's real. And thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. And that's why they carrying these guns. That's why they're laying out that anguish on their own brothers. Okay? Because they have no understanding of what the fuck is happening. All they know is people is dying around them. Their nation's on the bottom. And they don't know how to get up. They don't know who's going to help them. But they figure deal the gun, money, this and that, blah, blah, blah. The wine that Esau Edom has put out there, that's the way to get it, right? Or these other nations, right? So going back into this, let's go into an example here of impatient Jake. Because we went into one of those words and had impatient in there, right? Let's go into this real quick. I think it's Acts Theodos. Yep. Acts chapter 5 and verse 36. What did I put down there? Oh, I did put down 36. For before these days rose up Theodos, boasting himself, Slavic in pronunciation, is it Theodos? Boasting himself to be somebody, to whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who was slain, and all, as many as obeyed him, were scattered and brought to naught. Okay? That's terrible, bro. Okay? This is why the scriptures tell you that. Let me see if I can find it. Travel not with a bold man, Oh, shit. It is off. Damn it. Okay. I know I ain't gonna get it. Let me see if it'll pop up. Damn it. Damn it. All right, whatever, man. Whatever, man. Okay. Let's go here. Lambing back off that, and all as many as obeyed him were scattered and brought to naught. Let's go back off. Let's land back off of that for a second there. Watch what it says here in Sirach chapter 8 and 15. Travel not by the way with a bold fellow, lest he become grievous unto thee, for he will do according to his own will, and thou shalt perish with him through his folly. Okay, and there's a lot of jakes out there. You know, these guys stand up and talk. In the GNT, it talks about don't follow with a reckless man. Okay, he'll do whatever he pleases. Okay, and this is exactly the mindset of Jake. And then when they befall and drop into some kind of problem, they're like, well, you know, they start selling out. They start, you know, worming around and whatnot. Well, you shouldn't have been followed this bold man, this reckless man, okay? Because he's going to lead you down the road to destruction. Thinking that he is somebody or he could do, hey, man, we're on the curses, okay? So the best thing for you to do is what? Obey your power, okay? Fear your power. You won't fall into things like that. So continuing from Acts, let's go to 1 Maccabee, chapter 6, up here, and 42. Then Judas and the host drew near and entered into the battle, and they were slain of the king's army 600 men. Eleazar also, surnamed Savanran, perceiving that one of the beasts armed with raw harness was higher than all the rest, and supposing that the king was upon him, put himself in jeopardy to the end he might deliver his people and get him a perpetual name. Wherefore he ran upon him courageously through the midst of the battle, slain on the right hand and on the left, so that they were divided from him on both sides. So this guy, he saw the elephant there with royal apparel on and stuff, with a royal harness and stuff. So he assumed, because it was taller and whatnot over the rest, that, hey, that gotta be the king's elephant. Okay, yeah, that's him. So in a fit of rage, trying to get himself a perpetual name, he said, yeah, watch this, yo. Ran through the crowd and started slewing on the left and right. So you could get a vision of that in your mind. You know, he's running through this crowd in a battle and just chopping man, fop, 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 just to get to that elephant. In so much that he made a clearance for others to come through. You know, that's how thick he killed that, went through that crowd, man. Okay? Just to get at that man to get a perpetual name, right? Which none he crept under the elephant and thrust him under and slew him, whereupon the elephant fell down upon him, and there he died. So he didn't even catch the man. He caught some other dude, okay, trying to catch himself a perpetual name. This is what happens when you follow reckless men, bold men, okay? You're going to die with them, all right? When you follow these bold men, these reckless men, you go die with them, man. And that's just, You should be patiently waiting on Yahweh Shem Yahushai. But those are just examples to show you that even back then, so now, Jake is full of the fury of the Lord. He's full of anguish. He's full of vexation and trouble in spirit, and doesn't know why. and it's just like a uncontrollable fire. You know, a fire spitting out the flame, and the gas is like a gas hose with the flame attached to it, and it's just going all over the place, right? Like, I'm gonna use this metaphor, like a water hose. You know, when a fire hydrant comes and they attach the water hose, and it takes 2 men to control the hose, more than 2 men actually, and it's like uncontrollable because of the force. Well, that's the same metaphoric speaking. Like, Jake is like an uncontrollable fire coming out of a hose, hard to control, man. The pressure and the amount of the amount of pressure that's coming out of that hose is hard to control. It's the very same with Jake, man. Jake is so mad and so volatile. He's just killing himself, killing his brothers, killing the wife of his brothers, killing his kids, you know, killing himself, you know. And that's part of the curses, man. So that's why I labeled this, you know, with the face of DMX. Jake is mad pissed, man. Jake is mad pissed, you know. And, you know, this is all part of the curses, man. This is all part of the curses of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakah Kodash, man. You know? But the water, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, for making these things known unto us. That's why in Baruch, going back, I'm going to end on this scripture. Baruch chapter 4 and verse 4. O Israel, happy are we, for the things that are pleasing to Yahweh are made known unto us. And that's not the whole house of Israel. That's only on to the potential elect. Okay? So with that, Akim, hey, I hope you're edified. You know, if you feel inspired by this, make your own video, tag me. Let me, you know, watch it. So with that, hey, all praises, all honor, all glory be unto Yahweh. Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and